My sister trash-talked me at a family gathering until she realized who was paying her bills. Have you ever had to attend an event you knew was going to be emotionally exhausting? How did you prepare yourself? Hi, I'm Janelle, and if you've ever felt overshadowed, belittled, or downright humiliated by someone who's supposed to love you, welcome to my world. Family can be your biggest support system, but sometimes they can also be your harshest critics. In my case, that person was my own sister. What started as a normal family dinner turned into an open mic roast at my expense. But little did she know, everything she flaunted, the apartment, her new car, her lifestyle, was indirectly funded by the very woman she was mocking. This story isn't just about being trash-talked. It's about silence, strategy, patience, and choosing the perfect moment to reveal a truth so sharp it cuts through years of arrogance. Before we begin, I'd be glad to know that my story is reaching people from different corners of the world, so drop your country or city in the comments. I love seeing where you're tuning in from. And to every new subscriber and returning viewer, thank you for being part of this growing community. You inspire me to keep sharing real, raw stories. Let's begin. I sit at my kitchen counter, staring at the phone as Mom's voice crackles through the speaker. Janelle, it's just a small dinner. You'll come, right? Her tone is warm, but there's a pleading edge, like she knows I might say no. I twirl a strand of hair around my finger, the silence stretching. Family dinners haven't been my thing for years. Not since Vanessa turned every gathering into her personal stage. She's the golden child, the one who commands the room with a laugh and a story, while I'm the shadow, the quiet sister who listens and nods. I've learned to keep my cards close, to let her shine while I work in the background. But something in Mom's voice tugs at me, a gut feeling I can't shake. Yeah, I'll be there, I say finally, my voice steady despite the knot in my stomach. The week passes in a blur of work, long hours at my consulting firm, meetings with clients, and late nights crunching numbers. I don't tell anyone about the dinner, not even my best friend, Lila. She'd only lecture me about standing up to Vanessa, but I'm not ready for that fight. Not yet. By Saturday, I'm pulling into Mom and Dad's driveway, the familiar crunch of gravel under my tires grounding me. The house looks the same, white shutters, a neatly trimmed lawn, the porch swing swaying lazily, but the air feels heavy, like the calm before a storm. Inside, the smell of roasted chicken and garlic greets me. Mom's in the kitchen, apron on, stirring a pot of mashed potatoes. Dad's at the dining table, flipping through a newspaper. Janelle! Mom beams, wiping her hands on a towel before pulling me into a hug. You look tired. You working too hard? I smile, brushing it off. Just the usual. Dad glances up, his eyes softening. Good to see you, kid. I nod, scanning the room. No Vanessa yet. My shoulders relax, but only slightly. Then I hear her. The front door swings open and Vanessa's laugh fills the house like a tidal wave. Well, look at this spread, she calls, striding in with her boyfriend Marcus trailing behind her. She's all designer jeans and gold hoops, her hair cascading in perfect waves. Marcus, as usual, looks like he's auditioning for a cologne ad, polished, charming, and completely under her spell. Janelle, she says, spotting me. Her smile is wide, but her eyes glint with something sharp. Didn't think you'd show. Thought you'd be, busy with whatever you do? The room chuckles. Mom, Dad, even Marcus, and I feel the familiar sting. I force a smile, my fingers tightening around the edge of my chair. Wouldn't miss it, I say, my voice calm, but inside, I'm counting the seconds until I can leave. Dinner starts innocently enough. We pass plates of chicken, green beans, and cornbread. The conversation light. Dad's golf game, Mom's book club. Vanessa dominates, as always, regaling us with stories about her new marketing job, her weekend in Miami, the car she just leased. It's a BMW, fully loaded, she says, waving her fork. You should see the looks I get. Marcus nods proudly, like he co-signed the loan. I stay quiet, slicing my chicken, letting her fill the air. But I notice Mom's glances, the way she watches me, like she's waiting for me to speak up. I don't. not yet. Then it happens. Vanessa's on her third glass of wine, her cheeks flushed, her laughter louder. She leans back in her chair, her eyes locking onto me. "You know," she says, her voice carrying that fake casual tone I know too well, "some of us are still figuring life out, huh?" The table goes quiet. I feel every pair of eyes on me. "I mean," she continues, smirking, "living alone, no husband, no kids, no real job, just vibes." The word lands like a slap. Marcus snorts. Dad clears his throat, uncomfortable. Mom's fork freezes midair. I look at Vanessa, her smug expression daring me to respond. I could. I could say something cutting, something to wipe that smirk off her face. But I don't. I hold her gaze, my face blank, and take a slow sip of water. The silence stretches, heavy and tense. "Vanessa," Mom says softly, her voice a warning. But Vanessa just laughs, waving her off. "Oh, come on, Mom. Janelle's fine. She's resilient, right?" The word drips with condescension. I feel the heat rising in my chest, but I keep it locked down. I've spent years learning to control my reactions, to let her think she's winning, because I know something she doesn't. I know the truth about her shiny new life, the apartment, the car, the designer clothes. I know who's really paying for it. See, Vanessa thinks she's self-made, that her marketing job and side hustles cover her lifestyle. She doesn't know about the trust fund Dad set up years ago, the one I've been managing since I started my consulting firm. She doesn't know that every month I authorize the payments that keep her afloat, disguised as bonuses or gifts from Mom and Dad. They didn't want her to feel embarrassed, so they kept it quiet. I agreed to handle it, to stay silent. But silence is a weapon, and I've been sharpening it for years. The dinner drags on. Vanessa keeps talking, oblivious to the tension she's stirred. She brags about her new apartment, how she's hosting a housewarming next month. "You should come, Janelle," she says, her tone syrupy. "Maybe you'll get some inspiration for, you know, moving up in the world." Marcus chuckles again, and I wonder, not for the first time, what he sees in her. I nod, my smile tight. "Maybe," I say, my voice low. Mom changes the subject, asking about dessert, but the damage is done. The air feels thick, charged with unspoken words. As we clear the plates, I catch Vanessa in the kitchen, rinsing her wine glass. She glances at me, her smirk returning. "You're so quiet tonight," she says, almost teasing. "What's wrong? Cat got your tongue?" I pause, drying a plate, my eyes meeting hers. "Just listening," I say, my voice even. She laughs, but there's a flicker of uncertainty in her eyes. She doesn't know it yet, but she's just set the stage for her own downfall. I don't need to say anything now. I've got time, and I've got the truth. When the moment comes, and it will, she'll realize who's been holding the strings all along. I leave the kitchen, my heart pounding, but my steps steady. The night's not over, but I'm already planning my next move. Vanessa thinks she's untouchable, but she's about to learn how fragile her world really is. And when she does, I'll be ready. I walk out of the kitchen, Vanessa's teasing laugh still echoing in my ears. The dining room is quieter now, the clink of dishes fading as Mom starts brewing coffee. I catch Dad's eye across the room, and he gives me a small, knowing nod. He's always been good at reading me, at sensing when I'm holding back. I force a smile and slip into the living room, needing a moment to breathe. Vanessa's voice carries from the kitchen, now chatting with Marcus about some influencer event she's attending. Every word grates, but I keep my composure. I've been playing this game too long to crack now. The truth is, I've been carrying a secret for months, one that would shatter Vanessa's smug little world if she knew. 6 months ago, Mom and Dad pulled me aside after Sunday brunch. They were worried, their faces tight with strain. Vanessa, the golden child, was drowning in debt. Credit cards maxed out, her fancy apartment 2 months behind on rent, her car payments teetering. She hadn't told them, of course, she was too proud, but they'd found out when a collector called the house. "We can't let her lose everything," Mom had said, her voice breaking. But she can't know we're helping, she'd be humiliated. That's when they turned to me. I didn't hesitate. Family is family, even when it stings. I used my consulting firm's account to set up a discreet fund, funneling money to clear her debts, $12,000 in credit card bills, 3 months' rent, even a cushion for her car lease. I arranged a monthly allowance, labeled as consulting bonuses, from a shell company I created. Vanessa thought she was landing freelance gigs, but every dollar came from me. I didn't do it for gratitude. I did it because I know what it's like to struggle, even if I never flaunt my scars. But sitting there at dinner, swallowing her jabs about my vibes and no real job, each word felt like a blade twisting deeper. Now, as I sink into the couch, the weight of that secret presses against my chest. Vanessa saunters into the living room, wine glass in hand, Marcus trailing like a loyal puppy. "Janelle, you're so serious tonight," she says, flopping onto an armchair. Her tone is light, but her eyes are sharp, probing for a reaction. "What's got you so deep in thought, planning your next big move?" Marcus chuckles, and I feel the room shrink, the air growing thick with tension. I lean forward, my hands clasped, and meet her gaze. "Just thinking about family," I say, my voice low but steady. "How we all help each other, even when it's not obvious." Her smile falters for a split second, like she senses something beneath my words. But she recovers quickly, tossing her hair. "Well, some of us don't need help," she says, smirking. "I mean, look at me, new job, new car, new life. You should try it sometime." The barb lands, but I don't flinch. I let the silence hang, heavy and deliberate, watching her squirm just a little. Mom calls us for dessert, breaking the moment, and Vanessa jumps up, eager to escape the tension she doesn't fully understand. As we head back to the dining table, I catch a glimpse of myself in the hallway mirror. My face is calm, but my eyes burn with something else. Patience, maybe, or the promise of a reckoning. Vanessa's riding high, oblivious to the strings holding her up. But strings can be cut, and I'm starting to wonder how long I'll keep tying them. At the table, she's back to her performance, laughing loudly as she cuts into Mom's pecan pie. "This is why I love coming home," she says, winking at Dad. "Good food, good company, and no stress." I take a bite of pie, the sweetness cloying against the bitterness in my throat. "No stress," she says. If only she knew how fragile her stress-free life really is. I glance at Mom, then Dad, their faces a mix of love and worry. They've protected her too long. Maybe it's time she learned the cost of her crown. The pecan pie sits heavy in my stomach as I watch Vanessa hold court at the dining table, her laughter slicing through the room. She's oblivious, basking in her own glow, while Mom and Dad exchange glances that carry years of unspoken worry. I keep my face neutral, my fork tracing patterns in the crumbs on my plate. Vanessa's words from earlier, her smug "no stress" comment, echo in my mind, each syllable a spark igniting something I've kept buried too long. She thinks she's untouchable, that her shiny life is all her own. But I'm done tying the strings that hold her up. The decision crystallizes, sharp and cold, as I sip my coffee and let her performance play out. Later, as the evening winds down, I'm in the kitchen stacking dishes, when Mom slips in beside me. Her hands are busy scrubbing a pan, but her eyes are on me, soft and searching. "Janelle," she whispers, her voice low so Vanessa's laughter in the next room doesn't drown it out. "She's drunk tonight. Don't take it personally." She reaches for my hand, her fingers warm and calloused, but I pull back gently, drying my hands on a towel. "It's not about the wine, Mom," I say, my voice quieter than hers, but steady. "It's about respect." Her face tightens, a flicker of guilt crossing her eyes. She knows Vanessa's been crossing lines for years, but she's always hoped I'd keep the peace. I've tried. God, I've tried. But tonight, something snapped. Mom opens her mouth to say more, but Vanessa's voice cuts through, calling for another slice of pie. Mom sighs, forcing a smile, and heads back to the dining room. I stay behind, the hum of the dishwasher filling the silence. My phone buzzes in my pocket, a late work email probably, but I ignore it. Instead, I stare out the kitchen window into the dark backyard, the faint outline of the old swing set barely visible. I used to push Vanessa on that swing, back when we were kids, back when her laughter didn't come with a barb. Now, every word she throws at me feels like a debt she doesn't know she owes, and I'm done paying it. The next morning, I'm back in my apartment, the city waking up outside my window. My laptop's open, spreadsheets glowing on the screen, but my mind's elsewhere. I pick up my phone and dial my accountant, Greg. He answers on the second ring, his voice groggy. "Janelle, it's early. Everything okay?" I don't waste time on pleasantries. "Cut the transfers to Vanessa's account," I say, my tone flat. "Immediately." There's a pause, the kind that tells me he's processing. "But the rent payment's due this week," he says, cautious. "If we stop it now, it'll bounce. You sure about this?" I lean back in my chair, my eyes on the photo frame across the room, me and Vanessa at her college graduation, her arm slung around me, both of us smiling. "I know," I reply. "Let it bounce." Greg hesitates, then sighs. "All right, I'll handle it. Anything else?" I shake my head, though he can't see me. "Number, just keep it quiet." I hang up, the silence in my apartment suddenly louder. For 6 months, I've been the invisible hand keeping Vanessa's life afloat, paying off her $12,000 credit card debt, covering her rent, funneling money through a shell company so she could keep up her facade. I did it for Mom and Dad, for the family, because that's what you do. But family doesn't mock you at the dinner table. Family doesn't smirk while they twist the knife. I spend the day working, but my thoughts keep drifting to Vanessa. I imagine her getting the call from her landlord, the confusion on her face when the payment doesn't clear. She'll probably call Mom, maybe Marcus, spinning some story about a bank error. She won't suspect me, not yet. That's the beauty of silence. It's a weapon no one sees coming. By evening, I'm calmer, sipping tea on my balcony, the city lights sprawling below. My phone buzzes. Lila, my best friend, checking in. "How was the dinner?" her text reads. I type back, "Eventful. Tell you later." I'm not ready to spill everything, not even to her. This is my move, my moment. 2 days later, I get a call from Mom. Her voice is tense, the kind of tone she uses when she's trying not to panic. "Janelle, have you talked to Vanessa?" I set down my coffee mug, my pulse quickening. Number why? Mom hesitates, then says, "Her rent check didn't go through." She's freaking out, says it's some mix-up. I didn't know what to tell her. I lean against the counter, my mind racing. This is it, the first crack in Vanessa's perfect world. "That's rough," I say, keeping my voice neutral. "I'm sure she'll figure it out." Mom's silent for a moment, then asks, "You didn't do anything, did you?" The question hangs there, heavy with suspicion. I could tell her the truth, could lay it all bare, but I don't. "Mom," I say softly, "Vanessa's a big girl. She'll handle it." I hang up, my heart pounding. Part of me feels a pang of guilt. Mom's caught in the middle, and I hate that. But this isn't about her. It's about Vanessa, who's spent years treating me like a punching bag while I've quietly held her life together. I walk to my desk, pulling up the account I've been using to fund her. The balance is 0 now. The transfer's stopped. I close the laptop, a strange calm settling over me. Vanessa's about to learn how quickly things can fall apart when the safety net's gone. That night, I get a text from Vanessa. No call, just a message. "Hey, you good?" Mom's acting weird. I stare at it, my thumb hovering over the screen. She's fishing, trying to gauge if I know something. I could reply, could play along, but I don't. I set the phone down, letting the silence do its work. She's not ready for the truth yet, but it's coming. And when it hits, it'll be louder than any roast she's ever thrown my way. For now, I wait, knowing the real storm is just beginning. I lean back in my chair, Vanessa's text still unanswered on my phone. 3 weeks have passed since I cut her payments, and the silence has been deafening. No calls, no apologies, just that one vague message fishing for answers. I've kept busy with work, but the anticipation hums beneath my skin, a quiet pulse waiting for the moment her world unravels. I know it's coming. I can feel it. Then it happens. I'm in my office reviewing a client proposal when the door bursts open. Vanessa stands there, mascara smudged, eyes wild with fury. Her designer bag is slung over her shoulder, but her usual polish is gone. Hair messy, blouse wrinkled. "Why did the money stop?" she demands, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. "My landlord gave me a notice. I'm 2 weeks from eviction." She's shaking, her hands balled into fists, and for a moment, I almost feel sorry for her. Almost. I set down my pen, tilting my head. "Maybe talk to the person who's been paying your bills," I say, my voice calm but edged with steel. Her eyes narrow, confusion flickering across her face. Then it hits her. "You?" she whispers, her voice cracking. I nod, slow and deliberate, watching the realization crash over her like a wave. She stumbles back, gripping the edge of my desk. "You were paying for all of it?" Her words are barely audible, like she's afraid of the answer. "Yes," I say, standing now, my gaze locked on hers. "The sister with no husband, no kids, and no real job." The words are hers, thrown back like a mirror, and they hit hard. Her mouth opens, but nothing comes out. The silence is heavy, suffocating, stretching between us like a chasm. I can see her mind racing, piecing together the last 6 months, the bonuses, the cleared debts, the rent payments she thought were her own hustle. Her face crumples, a mix of shock and something else. Shame, maybe, or the weight of her own arrogance. She sinks into the chair across from me, her hands covering her face. "Why didn't you tell me?" she mumbles, her voice muffled. I don't answer right away. I let her sit with it, let the truth burn. "Because you didn't need to know," I say finally. "Until now." Her head snaps up, eyes searching mine for mercy, but I'm done playing the invisible savior. She mocked me, belittled me, while I held her life together. Now she's falling, and I'm not catching her. "Janelle," she starts, but her voice trails off. There's nothing left to say. The sister she roasted at dinner is the one who kept her afloat. And now, the ground's gone. I turn back to my desk, picking up my pen. "You should go," I say, my tone final. She stands, unsteady, and walks out, leaving the air thick with unspoken questions. The door clicks shut, and I exhale, knowing this isn't the end, but it's a start. I watch Vanessa leave my office, her silhouette disappearing through the frosted glass door. The click of the latch echoes in the quiet, and I sink back into my chair, my pulse still racing. Her stunned expression lingers in my mind, mascara streaked, eyes wide with the weight of truth. For the first time, she saw me, not as the quiet sister she could mock, but as the one who'd held her world together. The victory feels hollow, though, tinged with an ache I didn't expect. I wanted her to understand, but now that she does, the silence between us feels heavier than ever. She's back the next day. I'm at my desk, mid-call with a client, when my assistant buzzes me. "Your sister's here," she says, her voice hesitant. I end the call, steeling myself, and nod for her to let Vanessa in. She steps inside, no designer bag this time, just jeans and a plain sweater. Her eyes are red, her face bare of makeup. She looks smaller, like the bravado she's worn for years has been stripped away. She doesn't speak at first, just sits across from me, her hands twisting in her lap. The silence stretches, thick with everything unsaid. "Why didn't you tell me?" she finally asks, her voice low, almost a whisper. There's no anger now, just a raw edge of hurt. I lean back, crossing my arms, my gaze steady. "Because helping you wasn't about applause," I say, each word deliberate. "But mocking me? That was your choice." The words land like stones, and her eyes well up, tears spilling over. "I'm sorry," she says, her voice breaking. "I didn't know. I didn't mean—" She trails off, wiping her face, but I don't rush to fill the gap. I've spent years absorbing her jabs, swallowing my pride to keep the peace. Now, she gets to sit with the consequences. I nod, acknowledging her apology, but my walls stay up. I hear you, I say, my tone even, but sorry doesn't erase the years you made me feel small. Her breath catches, and she looks down, her fingers knotting tighter. I don't hate her, I never have, but trust is a fragile thing, and she's broken it too many times. Some lessons come quietly, in the silence of unspoken truths. Others, like this one, come with the sharp sting of reality. I've given her both. She stands, hesitant, like she's waiting for me to offer forgiveness, to pull her back into the safety net I've always been. But I don't. I need time, I say, and she nods, tears still falling as she turns to leave. The door closes softly, and I exhale, the weight of the moment settling in. Forgiveness might come later, but for now, I'm choosing boundaries. The truth hurts, but it's hers to carry now, just as I've carried her burdens for too long. I sit at my desk, the office quiet except for the faint hum of the city outside. Vanessa's tearful apology from yesterday lingers, her broken, "I'm sorry," echoing in my mind. I meant what I said. I need time. Years of her jabs, her smirks, her casual cruelty can't be undone with a single conversation. But as I sip my coffee, staring at the photo of us on my shelf, younger, smiling, unaware of the rift that would grow, I feel a shift. Not forgiveness, not yet, but a release. I've carried her weight for too long, and now the truth is hers to bear. Weeks pass, and the fallout begins to show. Vanessa moves out of her fancy apartment, the one I'd kept afloat with my payments. Mom calls me one evening, her voice a mix of worry and resignation. She's renting a studio now, she says. Smaller, but she says it's fine. She's working full-time at that marketing firm. I nod, though Mom can't see me, stirring my tea as I process. Vanessa, the golden child who thrived on appearances, is downsizing. The image she's clung to, the BMW, the designer clothes, the Instagram-perfect life, is crumbling. And for the first time, she's standing on her own. I see her a month later at Dad's birthday dinner. It's a smaller gathering, just the four of us at a local restaurant. She walks in, no Marcus this time, her outfit simple, a black sweater and jeans. No gold hoops, no flashy bag. She looks ordinary. When she sees me, there's a flicker of something in her eyes. Caution, maybe, or respect. "Hey, Janelle," she says, her voice softer than I'm used to. I nod, offering a small smile. "Hey." We don't hug, don't dive into warm chatter, but the air between us isn't charged with her usual bravado. It's different, civil. At the table, she's quieter than usual. Dad tells a story about his golf game, and Mom chimes in about her book club. Vanessa listens, nodding, but doesn't hijack the conversation with tales of her latest triumph. When the waiter brings the bill, she reaches for her wallet, hesitating before saying, "I can chip in." It's a small gesture, but it lands. I catch Mom's eye, and she gives me a subtle nod, like she's noticing the change too. I don't say anything, just sip my water, but inside, I'm cataloging it. The dynamic has shifted. She doesn't talk down to me anymore. She can't, because now she knows. The sister she mocked, the one she dismissed as just vibes, was the hand that fed her. For 6 months, I paid her debts, her rent, her lifestyle, all while she laughed at my expense. That truth hit her like a freight train, and it's reshaped her. Not completely, she's still Vanessa, still prone to a sharp comment or a flashy moment, but there's a humility now, a crack in her armor. She's learning you don't bite the hand that feeds you, especially when that hand never asked for credit. We don't talk about it, not directly. There's no tearful reconciliation, no dramatic heart-to-heart. But at the dinner, when Mom mentions my latest client deal, a big one with a tech firm, Vanessa looks at me, really looks, and says, "That's impressive." It's not much, but it's enough. I nod, letting the moment pass. I don't need her validation, not anymore. I've always known my worth, even when she couldn't see it. Months later, I'm at a coffee shop, working on my laptop, when I get a text from her. "Can we meet? Just to talk." I stare at it, my thumb hovering. Part of me wants to say no, to keep the distance I've built. But another part, the part that remembers pushing her on that swing set, her laughter bright and untainted, wants to hear her out. I reply, "Sure, next week." When we meet, she's nervous, fidgeting with her coffee cup. "I'm trying to be better," she says, her voice low. "I didn't realize how much I hurt you." I listen, my face calm, but I don't rush to absolve her. "I'm glad you're trying," I say. "Keep going." It's not forgiveness, not fully, but it's a door left ajar. The power has shifted, not because I flaunted it, but because I let the truth speak for itself. Quiet strength doesn't need a spotlight. It works in the shadows, steady and sure. Vanessa's learning that now, and I'm learning too. Boundaries aren't betrayal. They're survival. We're civil, maybe even on the path to something better, but I'll never again be the invisible sister who swallows her pain to keep her afloat. To anyone watching this, remember, quiet strength is still strength. You don't need to prove your worth to people who can't see it. I carried Vanessa's world until she forced me to let it fall, and in that fall, she saw me for the first time. It wasn't about revenge, it was about truth. And truth, when it lands, is louder than any roast, any smirk, any glass of wine raised in mockery. Thank you for sticking with my story. If it resonated, if it stirred something in you, please subscribe and join this community. We're all about silent power, dignity, and growth, about knowing your worth, even when others don't. Have you ever been underestimated, only for someone to finally see the truth? Share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Let's keep this conversation going, because your voice matters, even when it's quiet.